And the end of coal power in the UK as Britain's last coal-powered electricity plant prepares to shut down in just a few days.
And Matt, that is going to be the picture for quite a lot of people today, isn't it?
It certainly is to begin with, Charlie, but actually it's a day in which things improve drastically, certainly as we go into the afternoon, as I'll show you. But this was the scene yesterday in Scarborough. North Yorkshire, the wettest spot in this latest round of heavy rain. We saw 81 millimetres there at Fylingdales, as much as 100 mils on some of the moors as well. But we've had around a month's worth of rain in other parts of Wales, also across parts of Northern Ireland too. So it has been a pretty wet spell. Still that heavy rain around at the moment. There will be a lot of wet weather around in the short term, at least. As there has been, just take a look at this. It's just a typical shot from Bedfordshire over the last few days. And not only have we seen unbelievable amounts of rainfall for September, we have now had our wettest month on record at Woburn in Bedfordshire, over 4 times the normal rainfall for the month. That's just a unbelievable figure, really. And other spots, of course, have broken their September rainfall records too. It's getting better for a while at least, Nina. There's a little bit of good news, but certainly it has been rather grim. This was the scene in Whitby yesterday afternoon, and on the North York moors we saw as much as 100 millimetres of rain, and at Fylingdales, not far away from Whitby, we saw a month's worth of rain fall since Wednesday.
This is a landmark up against the right up near the M1. Everyone would have seen it driving up and down. What happens to this place? What happens to those great cooling towers that you've got?
OK, so from October we step into decommissioning the plant. So we'll be making the place, we call it cold and dark and safe, so removing any fuels, chemicals, gases, and making it ready for demolition, so the towers will eventually come down.
What's the business for you in the future?
Well, in the future we aim to decarbonise flexible generation. You know, in the end, as you rightly pointed out, renewables has been on a remarkable journey and it's been outstanding. And again, the UK has been in the vanguard of driving offshore wind, for instance. But what we want to do is decarbonise flexible generation, because you can't run an energy system on renewables alone. You need power when the sun doesn't shine and when the wind doesn't blow. So we'll decarbonise gas-fired power plants, for instance, with carbon capture, where we take the carbon and store it, or potentially with hydrogen in the future. And those technologies we're looking at all over the UK and indeed all over Europe.
Yes, it's been a horrendous week, hasn't it, for some of us? I think we all need a little bit of optimism. I'll bring you that this morning, though, from the Shetlands. This was from our weather watcher, Jeannie. It's looking lovely out there. There are a few shower clouds around, and it sums up what is heading to all of us later today. It's an improving day where you've got the rain at the moment. Sunny spells develop widely. There'll still be a few showers, but the downside, I suppose, it will feel a good deal colder as a northerly wind develops.
This has been days and days of heavy rain.
It's been a torrid week, hasn't it, Charlie? Nina, very good morning to you. Just to put a bit of perspective on it, let me just show you just some of the rainfall figures so far this month, most of which, of course, has been in the last week. Lots of numbers there, but the main thing to take off is a difference between that and the average. All these spots here have had between 3 and 4 times the normal September rainfall. Good morning, Nina. Morning, all. Well, I want to give you a little bit of optimism to take you away this Friday morning. This is Belfast. Yesterday, thoroughly wet. Today, blue skies out. Could be a few showers later. And it sums up what is heading to most parts.
Hi there, Lewis. Thank you very much. It's been a thoroughly wet morning across central and southern areas. We've got numerous flood warnings in force for England and Wales. The weekend, though, promises to be something of a brief respite, thanks to a brief ridge of high pressure.
Hello there, good afternoon. Well, it certainly was a wet and windy morning for many of us. Some outbreaks of heavy and persistent rain clearing southwards. But for the rest of this afternoon, it is an improving story.
Hello there, good evening. Well, real wet time of it over the last few days, hasn't it? Thankfully, we've got a chance to dry out this weekend. Certainly Saturday's looking pretty good and most of Sunday. But there is rain arriving by the evening and showers through next week.
Well, earlier on we were hearing about just how bad the flooding has been across a swathe of the South Midlands. This is one of the communities in Warwickshire badly impacted by the flooding. And at the moment we have 58 flood warnings really concentrated across this part of the world, across the Midlands. Why? Well, if we take a look at how much rain has fallen here so far this month, Woburn, Bedfordshire, parts of Oxfordshire, we've had 3 or 4 times the average September rainfall. So we are talking about extreme rain.
And Chris, I know that's a nice picture behind you, but this morning was very wet where I was.
Yeah, it was a grim start to the day, wasn't it? Quite cold as well. But the afternoon brightened up. We had a bit of sunshine coming through from this picture in Twickenham. But one of the things that really grabbed me from this picture is just how full the Thames is. And of course, that's really as a result of not what's coming from our area, but actually upstream in Oxfordshire, where there are a number of places that have had well over 3 times the September average rainfall. And that's all coming down the Thames now. So it'll stay full over the weekend. Temperatures yesterday, 19 degrees, just 13 degrees this afternoon. So we've dropped from near average to well below average. And we're going to keep those kind of temperatures for the rest of this month now.
So, Ruth, how's it looking for the weekend?
Oh, quite complicated, Charlene, I think is probably the best way of putting that. But you know, they say that sea air is good for the soul. So I have, as you said, come to the beach at Barry Island to, well, frankly, give it a go, because quite frankly, after the weather we've had recently, we could all do with that, couldn't we? As we've been seeing in the programme, the weather has been absolutely appalling, not just here in the UK, but across the pond in America as well. So we could all do with something a little bit calmer. And I may just be able to deliver on that front for you. On the bigger picture, if we run the pressure sequence through, you can see that a little ridge of high pressure has been slowly building over the course of today, settling things down, bringing a really rather decent start to the weekend. Now, I say decent start because it's not likely to last. You can see a swirling mess of low pressure starting to show its hand by the time most of us wake to the start of Sunday morning. What exactly does this mean? Well, it means more wet weather, which is not good news if you have been deluged recently. But accompanying the rain, we're going to see some very strong winds too. And the Met Office has issued a yellow weather warning to be aware for just that, very strong winds. The warning area covers western parts of Wales and the southwest of England in particular, where we could see gusts of well over 60 miles an hour, which, as we know, is enough to cause a disruption. So some thoroughly unpleasant conditions. Make your outdoorsy plans for Saturday if you can. Really, it's the sort of forecast that could be better, could be an awful lot worse, Charlene, but whatever you have planned for the coming weekend, Saturday's certainly the day to make those outdoorsy plans, and I hope you have a lovely one. I'll see you again soon.
All right, thanks. You too, Ruth.